Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you are brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build. And today we are back in Sulani. I know, I've been touting how excited I am for fall. However, I was just really compelled to build in this world because I did find a picture over on Pinterest that kind of sparked a little bit of inspiration for what I'm calling, at least at this point in time as I pre-record, the Lagoon Cottage. And I will, of course, put a picture in the bottom left-hand side of the screen so you guys can kind of see where the inspiration came from. But basically, it's just a little tiny cottage. It kind of looks a little bit like I don't know if this is completely accurate, but it kind of makes me think of like a Dutch colonial home. And I'm from New England. I've mentioned this a handful of times before, and this kind of style of home is like very common in coastal areas. You know, I'm thinking states such as like Maine or New Hampshire, kind of like right on the coast, like beachfront property, you know, like the really absorbently expensive properties. But I'm thinking here in Sulani, this was actually kind of more of I suppose more of an affordable property, and it's just a cute little one-bedroom cottage. And I did kind of put a little bit of thought into the sim that lives here. I typically do that, but I think this one especially I put a fair amount of thought into. So I was thinking it was just for a single sim, and I think that she is just a huge crafter. I think she is really into candle making because she has the candle making station. There's an easel out on that really nice balcony, and she's got like a computer, and she also has like the crafting desk with all the yarn balls and crafting items. So I think that she honestly just sells things on Plopsy full time. And she actually left university where maybe she was majoring in something like law or some kind of STEM career, and she honestly went towards some of those careers because her parents were in that field or something like that, and they pushed her to do it. And she was always very talented in those fields, but she just really didn't feel as though it was for her. It just didn't really give her fulfillment. And she had always had this creative side that they never really encouraged or allowed her to explore to the fullest. So she left university and she was like, I've been working on X, Y, and Z skills, and I'm going to see if I can make it as an artist. And granted, I don't want this to essentially be telling a certain story that like discourages, you know, women in those fields. There are so many amazing women in those fields, but I have to be honest, I am not a very STEM oriented person. So maybe this is kind of my dream. I love what I do. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love my job. I work in higher education and it is 110% fulfilling to me, but I've always had this little creative side. I even had a very small venture, a small stint on Etsy trying to sell things. Like I cross stitch and I embroider, and I can't draw for the life of me, so it's not really that. I also can't paint, but I don't know. This was just kind of a fun little story that I came up with in my head, and I really liked the character. I didn't really know what she was going to look like or anything. I haven't made her, but I really kind of liked her vibe. I really kind of related to it, and I was excited to build a home that I thought really represented her personality, which I am assuming is exceptionally vibrant. But we have moved on to the interior. The exterior came together very quickly, and this is, as I mentioned, just a one bedroom, one bathroom home. I believe I only did. And essentially what I did is upstairs here is I did make it a full second story. I would actually probably consider it more of an attic, but it's kind of a huge attic, and that's the only way that you can get to the balcony. But I do really like this. It came out really nicely, and I was so excited about it. And like I said, this is exceptionally vibrant. So I think the entire interior is like bright blue, and all of the furniture has like touches of blue and yellow and green, and I think a little bit of orange as well. And I end up actually swapping out this fireplace. It just looked a little bit too modern for what I was going for, but I used these couches from Seasons, which I don't get to really use too often. I think because they look very sleek, not like modern sleek, but they're usually a little bit too reformed, maybe. Yeah, that's probably not the right word. But I don't gravitate towards them very often, but I loved this really bright swatch, and I thought it went so nicely with the blue that I ended up using for the walls and the curtains that I ended up using. I was actually really oddly proud of this, is I used the Island Living curtains to kind of have a nice draped, not really useful curtain in the center of these windows. And then I used the Eco Lifestyle curtains. So I'm thinking, when you actually want to block out the sunlight, those would be exceptionally useful. But I ended up using this Parenthood fireplace, which I absolutely adore, even though it is I don't know. I was going to say a vacation world. It's not a vacation world. Even though it is kind of like this tropical world, I thought that a fireplace would still be nice in the winter. And honestly, I would just want a fireplace for ambiance. I actually desperately want a fireplace. It's not very common in New England to find apartments that actually have fireplaces in them. I think I remember hearing someone say at one point that for example, the UK, it would be exceptionally common to actually get a home or an apartment or something with a fireplace, that it was basically something you couldn't even avoid. Is that true? Do you guys know if that's true? I haven't looked it up or anything. I just kind of remembered hearing that, and I was super jealous because in New England, I don't know if you guys know this, it gets really cold. It gets really cold in the winter, and it's been really hard to actually find places that have fireplaces. Most of them are I don't know, gas heat, and even electric heat is actually really common now, but there's a lot of old homes in New England as well, late 1800s, early 1900s, and at this point, all of the chimneys, for the most part, I can't say all, but a lot of chimneys and a lot of fireplaces have actually been taken out of those homes, and now there's wood stoves, which is really nice, but you don't get that really nice fire to kind of stare into and get lost in. So I don't know why I went on this rambling rant here about fireplaces and whatnot when we're literally in Sulani, a very tropical world. But as you can see, this color scheme is just so bright, and to me it's so cheerful. I absolutely adore it. I loved using that lamp from Seasons that I don't get to use a lot. I think it's oddly short. I kind of wish it was a little bit taller so I could squeeze it behind certain items, but I do still really love it. And over here is going to be the dining room, which I used this table from Laundry Day and the chairs from Island Living. I thought it was absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. I am obsessed with this interior, and it's probably one of my favorite interiors that I've come up with thus far. I just absolutely love the color scheme. I would be really, really happy if my house was this cheerful and bright. It's really not. I have a lot of neutrals. It's probably more so not really my decorating style, and I'm kind of surprised that I was able to pull this off in this build. But yeah, I just really, really like it. They have a little console table over here in the corner, so I did shift the dining table just a little bit off center from the archway, and I did playtest this. All of the chairs were perfectly accessible to my playtest sim, so I hope that you guys don't have any problems. However, it is only a single sim that lives here, so I'm not too worried about all of the chairs being accessible. However, I do think that she's fairly social and she really likes to entertain friends and family and stuff like that. So more chairs would probably be required. And you guys probably noticed too is I only put a ladder in this build since I was thinking that she was a fairly young adult, maybe literally did maybe freshman year of college and then left. So she is kind of a teenager, young adult-ish, age-wise, and I didn't think a ladder was going to be a big deal for her. If you did have an elder sim or something in here, it would probably be something you'd want to think about. Not that they will actually get exhausted, but I feel it's super awkward because elders definitely wouldn't be climbing up and down a ladder every morning and every night. And yeah, I would just think about that. But as you can see, I am starting to clutter up this little shelf here. I haven't used the shelving unit from Island Living in a good chunk of time at this point, but I really love it and I really wanted to use it in this build. I kind of went for a combination of woods as well, as you guys have probably noticed. I used this flooring from Island Living, but then a lot of the furniture, except for the dining room chairs, but a lot of the furniture is kind of this softer, lighter wood. And then I ended up using a lot of different, what am I trying to say? I started using a lot of different things from Island Living, the darker wood tones and stuff like that. And I'm kind of noticing right now that I think I skipped over, I think I forgot to record a good chunk of the kitchen. I am so sorry. I was in windowed mode, and I've mentioned this before, but I was in windowed mode, and I think some of the footage recorded and saved in different spaces, but I'm actually kind of glad that I didn't record the kitchen because I struggled with getting that broom to sit kind of quote unquote on the fridge for 10-15 minutes, and you guys did not have to see that, but the kitchen is really cute in my opinion. I used the blue Parenthood counters, which I haven't used in a long time, and I used the Parenthood shower tub combo as well with the little whales. I know it seems kind of like childish, but I think that she is just so excited to live on the beach, and she wanted something that was kind of themed. And then we move on to the upstairs, which is going to be her bedroom slash office space. So I do separate this upstairs section. And for this bedroom area, it was a little bit hard. I mean, we've got like these dormer windows poking out, and I didn't want the bed to be pushed into the dormer because I thought it would look a little bit awkward. So I ended up just putting a bookcase behind it. And granted, your Sims won't be able to access that bookcase, but I thought it looked really nice and it didn't block the windows fully, which I was grateful for. And the bedroom's actually a decent size considering the space upstairs is oddly shaped and maybe a little bit small. But here you can see the ladder actually leads right up into the office space, and I finished working on the bedroom a little bit. So she's got a dresser up here and just a couple of decorations. I didn't go too crazy just because it is such a cramped space, and she's got like 2 doors, so I can't place too many things near the doors without blocking them. There's like the door from the landing space and then the door onto the balcony. So I don't know, it seemed really cozy. There's probably a little less light that is like up here in the bedroom than I would want. I would want like this big huge window in front of my bed to be able to look out onto the lagoon, onto the beach. Of course, I'd want a curtain just in case, but I don't know, it's still really cozy. And over here is the office space. So she's got the candle making station. She's got a desk with all of her craftables and crafting items. She's got a computer because, like I said, I think that's her job. I think she sells a lot of things just online, so she needs to be able to kind of organize and run her business. She's got a couple of bookcases up here too. And then I think I just put I think it's like a little love seat in the corner here, just a little place to kind of relax. And I've got some hanging plants too, just to bring some life into this room, considering it is a little bit closed off from like the sunshine and everything. I also add a chair right at the top of the landing space, just in case you might have a friend over or something. I don't really know. And then I move on to the balcony where there is a painting easel and a couple more chairs, again, in case she has friends over, they can hang out on the balcony. And then I end up actually building what would you call it? Kind of like a deck off the back of the home as well. I kind of saved it for the end. So I end up building a deck. I extend this out here, and it's honestly just a nice little outdoor dining space. There's a couple of seats and the picnic table that I end up using. There's the ladder into the water just so they can have water access instead of it being all fenced off, and a grill. So I hope you guys did enjoy this, and I will catch you guys next time I post a video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Let's go to work, 'cause I'm tripping. Gotta work on myself, 'cause I'm falling apart. Please wake me up, 'cause I'm slipping. Can't fight this feeling off no more. But I'm not going to give up and fall. Rise above the door, meet all my challenges and search for my strength. I defeat them all. I'm never ever gonna hide no more. I come to love myself again. Yeah. For all the things I didn't know, the pain, the hurt, I let it go. Start to believe in myself, and life will be sweet again. So sweet again. But now it's done. didn't know the pain, the hurt. I let it go, let it go.